Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, welcome to the Amateur League Invitational Tournament Finals, and man, is it going to be an amazing series. I'm hoping to see some fantastic play. These two teams have battled it out through 12 teams that entered at the beginning last Saturday. We went through group stages, we went through quarterfinals, semifinals last night, and now we make it to the finals. On the blue side, Scum Gang from the Amateur League 3-0 Esports. And on the red side, we've got Iridescence Gaming coming out from Risen. Both these leagues submitting teams that made it into the semifinals, and now they are here for the finals, and we get to find out after this series who will be the champions of the first ever Amateur League Invitational Tournaments, and it will go down in history. I'm joined by Jess Express, myself, Jake Kelton, as your host. Who is hyped up? Let me see it in the Twitch chat. It is going to be amazing. Jess, how are you doing?
Hello, gamers. This is going to be an intense battle, that's for sure.
I'm hoping to see some amazing stuff. Now, for those of you that have followed this series on XLNC Shoutcasting, as we've been keeping it up going through all of these games, the thing that I enjoyed watching from Iridescence last night was their ability to draft in the picks and ban phase. They were able to pull some really good team compositions. They had great synergy around mid to late game fights. Their laning phase, a little bit of a struggle, but definitely could still show up when they had those collapsing teammates, and so we'll see if they can pull off that once again, as they are against Scum Gang that usually comes out just firing on all cylinders. They focused very heavily on bottom lane AD carry and support when they were playing back, I believe it was the quarterfinals that I last saw them on last Sunday. So this time we're seeing the focus bans on the bottom lane once again: Morgana, Sivir, Xayah, and for the side of Iridescence Gaming, the top lane Kled, Braum, and Malzahar. That Kled in the hands of Spooter Juan, absolutely decimating one of the games that we watch, so immediately taking it away from him.
These are definitely very smart picks with Braum being very strong right now, and especially if Scum Gang is going to pick a Kai'Sa, the Braum would heavily counter her. So that's definitely a really smart pick. Make sure that the Kai'Sa can do AAs into them and be able to pop off her abilities and her procs. Without that, Braum can just cancel her off, so definitely a very smart call there.
Exactly. Take away a super strong champion plus that Glacial Fissure AoE knockup. Huge in those team fights. Keeping it limited though, he will be taken off the table. And again, the focus on these AD carries, the Kai'Sa, the Jinx, both picked up late game hyperscaling champions in their own right. And now the question comes in, what are the supports that are going to be paired with them? Nautilus, a tournament favorite, pretty darn strong in his own right, and so he will be picked up by Iridescence Gaming.
I'm starting to see a lot more Nautiluses now that they buffed him. So this is going to be definitely interesting. Big meat shield for the Kai'Sa, be able to block, hook, and just, CC central. Oh, there's a Tark on the other side, so more CC central. This will be interesting to see who can CC who first.
Yeah, from the side of Scum, they've picked up that Taric, pairing up that purple color duo in the bottom lane. He can definitely bring CC, but he also has, again, that later stage Cosmic Shield. Had it literally a second ago. Got that ultimate that shields up everybody, making sure they're taking no damage, allowing the team to really find those 5v5 fights. And so for the side of Iridescence Game, you're going to have to play patient around that. Wait out that ultimate, because if you burn a whole bunch of spells while it's up, you're going to have a hard time and probably lose the fight. Sejuani locked in as well. One of the things, another tournament favorite, great on CC, great mobility across the map, has been generally sent towards the bottom lane, and pairing with that Taric is absolutely massive. So we'll see if that's where the jungler from the side of Scum, Boosted Lee, wants to take Sejuani, whereas for Iridescence Gaming, they're going to pick up that Skarner, a bit of a pick for them, and I believe they played it in yesterday's games. So again, you're still focused a bit on just grabbing that one person, make it a 4v5 fight, and they can still open the door to split push, something that they did a bit yesterday with the Vladimir. They had him in the mid lane, but you can also send him into the top side of the map, have him split in a 4v5, and then when he joins, Skarner just initiates with that Impale ultimate.
I mean, Wraith will definitely be a little bit upset to see Vladimir back on the map here for sure. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there won't be any Wraith rants today.
Fortunately, there won't. He can definitely pick off a couple of minutes during a game ranting about something like that. We do want to quickly mention the fact that we do have a bunch of focus in the mid and top side, of course, with those bans in the bottom and jungle already coming through. The Zoe, the Lissandra, Kennen, and Aatrox respectively taken away. A lot of initiators, a lot of people that have like Zoe's Trouble Bubble, Sleepy Time, as well as Lissandra Root, and then those top laners, super strong, great AoE for the late game team fights. Kennen and Aatrox, you don't want them in those team fights, as we see from the side of Scum, Garen being locked in for the top lane. Not a common top lane, and I would say I actually haven't seen him in probably going on a year at this point. He never gets played, but he'll be making it into today's first game as Rise, the final lock-in of the Pro Draft. So now that we see what both teams are looking at, Jess, give it to me. What are your thoughts on the compositions as a whole?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see Garen on the map for sure. He is very unloved, but still pretty strong. If a good Garen player can be very scary. So that'll be something to watch out for. It looks like Scum Gang has gone extremely tanky with CC heavy, so it looks like they'll have a large amount of team fight happening and peels for Kai'Sa. So it's going to be focused on if Kai'Sa can hyper carry this game with the Ahri. Looks like there's going to be a lot of disengage for them for that Nautilus, the Skarner picks. And the AoE ultimates for sure can really make or break their team fights here.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting from the side of Scum. You look at their overall lineup, you're talking about the CC and the peeling for the Ahri and Kai'Sa could definitely come through. They can definitely have some really good damage. Now, you think, though, they're focused mostly on burst and single target damage. You look at the Ahri, that Foxfire, not very effective when it's in the middle of a big 5 fight. You're focused on just grabbing one person with the charm, bursting them down. Kai'Sa, very similar with her Acathian Rain. And you have that CC lockup with the Sejuani and the Taric. The Garen still confuses me a little bit, but I could see the potential to be that beefy front line. Whenever Skarner's initiating, you do have that Q that can silence the Skarner, slow down that initiation, and maybe you've got yourself that CC chain to pick him off before the rest of the team can find a collapse afterwards, because Skarner isn't pulling someone into the enemy team. We'll see if they can pull that out. Go ahead.
Not only is Garen going to be interesting to see, but he could go either really tanky or build in some damage and help pop off and, you know, burst down those squishies. Do some damage to be a threat, to, you know, maybe be a little bit of a target opposed to them consistently focusing the 2 hyper carries.
Right.
So,
and when you are on that front line, that's what you want to do. However, we've seen some junglers focusing pretty heavily on the top side of the map, especially in yesterday's semifinals games. They spent a lot of pressure up there trying to get people ahead. And speaking of the top lane, Iridescence Gaming are going to lock in the Rise for the top lane. He's got some pretty good power there, and I love his ability to not only try to split push, he could also join in team fights, whether it be through the Realm Warp of that ultimate or through the TP. So he's definitely going to be a highly mobile champion, someone to watch, especially when team fights around the Drake are breaking out in the early stages of the game. They also lock in the Vladimir for the mid lane. That's a heavy AP coming out from Iridescence Gaming between those two. So you've got to keep that Jinx and Skarner on the AD side and dealing as much damage as possible. Otherwise, it's just, let's build magic resistance on the side of Scum Gaming and we'll be fine.
yeah, it's a good thing they do have Rise too. That gives them the CC they have, as well as a disengage for the Sedge engage, like the enemy team. The enemy team has an insane hard engage, and that Rise can, you know, TP them right on out. If Taric ulties, it can, you know, they could disengage from it, and that way they can re-engage and wait out the Taric ulti. So that'll be good for the CC, as well as Vladimir has an escape to disengage their hard engage. So he can really dodge a Sedge ulti and maybe a Taric CC and really help out pump some damage. So it'll be really position reliant on the Jinx because of the large CC on the enemy side with the Ahri charm, the Sedge stun, the Taric stun, and the silence. So it's really going to be a make or break for Jinx in this game right now.
Alright, so this is huge stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the champions locked in from both sides, but we have not introduced the players yet. So let's go down both teams, introducing the player and the champion they're going to be playing in game number 1 of this best of 5 series. From the side of Scum Gang, we've got ourselves Scooter Juan with the Garen in the top side, Boosted Lee Sin with the Sejuani in the jungle, Subhuman taking the Ahri into the mid lane, Kira with the Kai'Sa in the AD carry role, and Homie rounding their full composition out, bringing more CC, the Taric, in the bottom lane supportive role.
And coming up for the IRD team is going to be Rise in the top lane role as and Capitals, and Skarner for Brick Burner, Vladimir for Dodo Floors, Jinx for Grady Carry, and Tidy for Nautilus.
It is a weird name. I actually had to be corrected.
It is pronounced Tide.
I had to be corrected yesterday as well. I started to say it a little bit funny, but someone in the chat, thank you for locking that one in, letting us know what the name is actually pronounced by. Also, you have to love the Rise's name, random capitals with some random capitals thrown in. Of course, making the most sense there. So, composition-wise, we were looking at both of them. We're saying from the side of Scum Gang, they definitely have some teamfight presence, but they are very focused on those picks. The Sejuani ultimate, the Glacial Prison, as well as that single target damage out of the Ahri and the Kai'Sa able to burst people down. And one of the things that it's so good at doing is punishing over engagement. Because when you look at the side of Iridescence, you look at the Rise, you can teleport with that ultimate deep into enemy territory, trying to make a play, but can go a little bit too far. Skarner going to be rushing forward. Vladimir needs to be within the middle of a team fight to actually be doing as much damage as he can with the Hemo play, with his E. So, and even Nautilus, when he hooks in, he could go a little bit too deep. So from the side of Scum, what I want to see them do is not get overexcited and make sure that they're playing calm so that when the side of Iridescence Gaming sends someone forward, you know, it's kind of the fishing line by that Nautilus or somebody else. You're kind of casting them into the fight saying, all right, what can we get with this? If they just misposition a little bit too much, you got the Taric stun, the Charm from Ahri, the Sejuani stun, the Silence from Garen that can immediately punish them. However, if Scum is the one initiating the fight into a big 5v5, that's allowing Vladimir to get to that backside, allowing Rise to just pop damage through the entire team, could look a little bit rough for Scum.
So the team fights are definitely going to be really focused on skill matchups, really focused on decision making, and focused on who is going to be the engager. That's essentially what it's going to come down to. Which team's going to engage, and how are they going to, you know, prepare for that? How are they going to react? And it all is going to depend on, you know, if they can get out of the CC, if they can get through to the back line. And you know what? I think it's going to be a pretty intense game with these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely critical. One of the things you're talking about, that CC and engagement from the Skarner especially, are they going to pay the QSS tax? They've got to grab that Quicksilver at some point. You can see from the side of Scum, none of them are taking the cleanse spells. So they're focusing on continuing to these fights and trying to find leads in lanes. But once that level 6 comes through for Skarner and he's got that Impale, at some point you're going to have to do something to respond to the fact that Skarner can just run on in and drop that ultimate on someone, drag them away. Which then brings now the critical question for these junglers. We talked a little bit about them potentially roaming around, especially on that top side of the map. Maybe the Skarner trying to get the Rise a little bit ahead so that he can easily solo out that Garen on the top side of the map. But where will they focus? I'm feeling like Sejuani might head towards that bottom side paired up with Taric. That's some pretty good damage there. But from you, Jess Express, what are your thoughts on jungler pressure? Where do they take it?
I think that Skarner is probably going to pressure the bot lane to really snowball that AD damage on Jinx, because they really need to rely on her specifically to pump out that AD damage because they're so AP reliant right now. So I think Skarner is going to really try and get in some picks, maybe catch out the Kai'Sa before level 6, because that will be a little bit more difficult with Taric ulti coming in to disengage them.
I also have to be corrected once again by Enchanted Gaming. Thank you so much. You cannot QSS this Skarner ultimate. So I have been, or you can't cleanse. You can QSS it, but you cannot cleanse. So again, the QSS question still comes into play. But that is something that I definitely need to make sure I don't make the mistake on. Again, thank you, chat, for correcting me. So if you had to pick a team to win game 1, what would it be and why?
I think that the stronger team right now, it's a really hard choice. It's really difficult. I think if I were to have to choose, I'm going to have to pick Scum, because they have the hyper carries, they have the AP, they have the AD, they have CC, and they just have a lot of utility and team fight potential. That's their win condition, because Iridescence only has the win condition of if Jinx can get the 80 damage off. If she can't get that 80 damage off, they can't really pump down if Scum builds up that MR.
Well, they do also have that Vladimir late game, and so that's actually where my eyes look to for the side of Iridescence Gaming. It's a little bit easier for them to get in with that Skarner ultimate. Also, a lot of CC coming through from the Nautilus as well, and then they have the late game Vladimir to tack onto it as well. They just have to get past that 20-minute laning phase. But welcome, everyone. This is it. This is when you drop those chat emotes. Give us your hype, and let us hear if you got it. Hashtag IRD or hashtag Scum if you think one of these teams is going to be the victors of game number 1. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it looks like they're really prepared. They both have the proper positioning to protect the jungle right now. You have Kaisa near the try, as well as Tarek in his positioning. They're going to catch out Vlad here.
Yeah, Dodo Flores on the run. Garen's coming in, but he can't quite find the auto attack range to get that Q down. Don't think it would have killed him anyway. Dodo would have been able to get out. However, he's going to be a quick early recall, get that health back, and then head back to lane. Should be fine. I want to check in what the first Drake of the game is. Yesterday, we saw a lot of Mountain Drakes. A little bit of dance-off there from a jungler in the mid lane. We saw a lot of Mountain Drakes that definitely helped those turret plates go down early, and we get blessed by the RNG gods. It is an Infernal Drake to start the game off, so that means that things are going to get pretty heated up once those Drakes start to fall.
It's getting spicy with a lot of team fight action happening for that Inferno. That'll definitely help boost whoever gets it for sure.
Well, so similar start to yesterday, or just most junglers on the blue side. Sejuani picking up that red buff Skarner. On the top side of the map, going to go ahead and grab his. I don't think we'll see any vertical jungling. I would be curious if Sejuani is going to try to quick gank this bottom lane. A level 2 Tarek with that stun could lead to some good stuff with Sejuani having red buff. However, that would open the top side of our map to be stolen away by Skarner. We'll have to see if that comes through. Also, keep your eyes on where these junglers moves around the Scuttle Crabs, because they have been changed. They come in a lot later, and so we'll have to see where they are taking that focus.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to probably pick up some more jungle here to maybe get an extra experience boost, maybe an extra level boost to get in an early game gank. Looks like Skarner is hovering the top side, but Garen's playing very safe, so there might not be an early game gank happening quite yet there, but it looks like there are opportunities here for an early game gank at the bot lane with Jinx and Nautilus being pushed up so far ahead.
Yeah, and that's something to keep your eyes on this bottom lane for the ADCs. On the side of the Iridescence, you're looking at the Nautilus and the Jinx. It's a little bit difficult for Nautilus to land those hooks and get that CC when people are hiding underneath that turret. So Jinx doesn't actually want to over-push in the bottom lane. And so Kai'Sa's trying to delay her pushing, force her to push into that turret. Anyway, a little bit of skirmish in the mid lane, just going to trade some help. But on the bottom side of the map, Tarek, on the other hand, has that stun ability, and if he gets deep underneath his own turret, he again can use that to turn some of those fights around. So you can see now the Jinx and the Nautilus kind of backing away, letting the wave push into them. As long as they can keep the waves right here in the middle of it, the lane, that should allow Nautilus to maybe fight for some of those hooks, go fishing, to see if he can pick up the Kaisa.
It looks like that's not really going to happen right now, because it looks like it's going to shove in. It's really going to be down to lane control, CS control, and who can lock that lane.
No big action just yet. Skarner clearing up the bottom side of the map for himself, headed down there. He's actually going to be able to be seen by that Tarek, so they know that he's on that side of the map. There, the pings come through, and Sejuani is up on that top side. So basically just trading, and this is very common for the first game of the day, especially in a big best-of-5 series. Both teams want to play it safe, want to make sure that they're doing all the right moves. Neither team desperate yet to try to make anything happen, and you never want to be that first blood. You never want to be the one who makes that first mistake. So playing it calm, playing it steady, and at the moment that is actually favoring Iridescence, because again, they've got that scaling Vladimir as well as Jinx towards later stages. So as long as they can keep getting farm, things are looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, they're definitely going to want to, Scum's definitely going to want to get some early picks here, because they do heavy scale, so they want to try and get an early game lead. So playing it slow may not, is safe right now, but they may want to look for a pick here and there to try and, outscale early game.
We're seeing a little bit of CS lead, mostly in those lanes. You got that 33 CS on the Vladimir to the 28 of the Ahri. Let's talk a little bit more about this top lane. Garen definitely able to absorb a lot of the pressure from the Ryze, simply because in the early game, while Ryze does have that range and can poke, Garen steps away. He gets a lot of regen, comes right back in. However, that Ryze over time will lead in that CS and will eventually be able to actually root the Garen enough to do some substantial damage. So we'll see if that comes through on the top side, especially with the help of Sejuani. Garen may be able to find some way back into that if Ryze starts to get a little bit too ahead. However, Sejuani at the moment just focusing on farming, trying to hit that level 6 and match Skarner for pressure once he gets his ultimate.
It looks like Sejuani might be preparing to do some wards, deep wards in here, because that Infernal is now up. That's a very smart choice to get wards in as early as possible, because like you said, with an early game Inferno, there's definitely going to be some team fight happening, definitely going to need a lot of vision control. If she can't get that dragon control and get a gank down here, that might be an early Inferno, which looks like she's going to try and do right here. She's waiting real patiently.
Oh, and here she comes, Boosted Lee Sin, looking for the play. Gonna go ahead and board charge and go for the Jinx. They found the Taric stun. It's only under the Nautilus. However, that's the Sejuani stun. Dropping carry down a bit. No flash or heal just yet. And the hook from the Nautilus pulls Sejuani back in. She flashes, but stunned up by Skarner. So a lot of CC being traded back and forth. The Jinx down to about 300, but the Sejuani very low. Boosted Lee Sin backing away, and Brickburner coming in with an excellent timing on a counter gank.
Yeah, a lot of subs are definitely burned there. Sedge has no flash now, so that's going to be interesting to see when contesting for that dragon. But it looks like Skarner is going to try and get some ward control here, maybe sneak in a gank in the mid lane. Really clearing out those wards. Yeah, it's just going to be a battle between who can have that vision right now. And Sedge has no flash. What else was burned here? I think that was all that was burned as of right now. Yeah, so they're a little bit down at some, but still got that CC.
Then you can look at those spells overall. Only the Sejuani burning flash, otherwise everyone else playing fairly safe, and the Jinx being able to get out without burning heals pretty good. But now Skarner's turn for revenge. Is he going to come down here? The zap from the Jinx is going to land, and maybe looking for the play onto the Taric. The hook from the Nautilus is going to miss. They're still going to make the engage. The Taric is rooted up, and the Impale from Skarner guarantees first blood. Unfortunately, it goes over to Tide as he had that Ignite ticking away, but still first blood for the side of Iridescence Gaming as they will strike a little bit of fear into Scum's hearts.
It looks like Skarner is starting to hit that dragon now, I think, or ward it. I'm pretty sure he's hitting on it right now.
You can click over there and check it. You can go anywhere on the map that you want to.
I'm not streaming right
You're not
now.
the one streaming.
You're the one streaming.
It's alright. As a production guy, I know that very, very well. You're kind of hesitant, but with that Skarner starting up the Infernal Drake, he's actually going to smite it with the help of his bottom lane, who won out. The Kai'Sa unable to respond. Jinx and Nautilus able to rotate up as well, and the Infernal Drake will just stack a little bit more in favor of Iridescence Gaming. Now, something to be said about Scum Gang is that they have been able to play in these games before where they're starting to lose in the early game just by kind of delaying and waiting for those team fights. We talked about their power when it comes to picking people off in the mid game between rotations and good vision coverage. Check out the Sejuani dropping the control ward and the normal ward up here on the top side of the map of Iridescence Gaming. They still have that potential for sure. The lead is not completely detrimental, but it is some small stuff going in IRD's favor.
Yeah, that's for sure. They definitely have the dragon. They have a slight gold lead, not by very much. Like, I would say maybe about 500 gold right now. And one kill up with an Infernal Drake. That's about it right now. But as for CS, it looks like Garen is actually ahead of the Ryze by like 1 CS. So that's good that he's keeping up with the Ryze and not letting him snowball. As well as, but in the mid lane, Vlad has 10 CS above Ahri. So that might not be good later on if he's going to get a lead. That's going to turn out to be very scary for Scum.
Well, the thing that Ahri has to her at Subhuman at the moment has the ability to wave clear quickly, and Vladimir can't roam. If he knows that multiple waves are being pushed into his turret and he's not there to catch them, that would be pretty bad. He's got some good wave clear, but not quite as fast as Ahri with that Q, and so for at the moment at least, Subhuman, all this Ahri has to do is sit there, clear those waves quickly, keep the Vladimir in that mid lane as Skarner's maybe looking for a play on the top side. He's got that Impale back up, he's found the stun, there it is, pulling Garen into the Ryze. The root is down, but it's not going to be a whole lot. Is it going to be enough to finish out Spider Juan, who's flashing underneath the turret and spins his way like a little tornado gets himself out. But again, they're burning flashes every time Skarner comes in and makes those plays.
Yeah, and Garen has no TP now, so Rise can pick up a lot more CS here, and he just doesn't have map control right now because all his sums are down. He had to force out, and...
Ooh. Two-man stunned by the Taric on the bottom side. The Nauts is going to throw out that ultimate, knock up the Kai'Sa. There is the Radiance called out from the Taric, but that is just to allow them to back away. The zap from the Jinx going to still come through. Ooh, dredge line from the Nautilus, almost re-engaging the fight. Hits the wall, and they back away. A little bit of just trading going on.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of pressure happening in the bot lane now that they got those ganks, and that's what they needed for the Jinx to get a little bit ahead, get that AD that they need to snowball, and it really is showing. I mean, they are holding under tower, like you said, for the stun lock, so that is one thing they can use to their advantage right now, but as of right now, it looks like bot lane has the lead with CS and up on a kill for that gank. Skarner is really adding in a lot of gank pressure, so that Sedge really needs to come in with her level 6 here and return the favor.
All right, well, it's going to be a pretty interesting game, to say the least, at the moment with that lead from Iridescence Gaming. Something to note is that overall, when you're looking at the caster prediction for these games, a lot of the organization heads put their predictions in as well. Most people said, it was actually a tie as to which team would win the finals in total, but most people said that Scum Gaming definitely seemed a little bit favored as a play in the mid lane. There's the Hima play coming through the flash from Vladimir, but no, he's not going to be able to get it. The Ahri heals up just enough to get out. Did have to, no, only burned the ultimate, excuse me, didn't burn flash. So Vladimir burns ignite and flash, and his ultimate doesn't get the kill on Ahri, just forces her out of lane.
She's like, swiggity swooty, you're not touching my booty today. Not yet, Vladimir. Not yet.
Not yet for sure. Vladimir needs a little bit more time. He's only got that revolver at the moment. Not a whole lot of damage as the Proto Belt comes through from the Ahri. Excuse me, I'm going to correct myself again before I get yelled at by Twitch chat. The GLP comes through from the Ahri. So a little bit of a first item for her as Skarner was in this bottom side seen by that vision. Want to take a quick note earlier and say that the Sejuani was actually way up ahead, about 20 CS over the Skarner because of all of his ganks. However, he's been able to catch up pretty good in farm as well as you see him recalling. And so it's not been that detrimental. And so far, Bruce Lee Sin, is he even on the map? We have yet to see any major plays besides that one in the bottom lane from the Sejuani.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Sejuani is not adding as much gank pressure as I expected early game. But I mean, she is one of those champions that need to scale and need to get that late game, need to get that level 6 off. To add in, as there is another dragon popping it, I'm sure that we'll see her add more pressure in here. Looks like she's in the top side right now, and I would like to see probably some more control on that Ocean Drake. Get some dragon control, see if they can pick up a dragon, because if they lose another dragon, that's just going to be unfortunate considering that red side already has an Inferno happening right here.
Yeah, so they got that Infernal. Speaking of the Drakes, there's an Ocean Drake up on the map as well, and we'll see if either team tries to rotate to that. Early game would be nice to have, but late game is even nicer, especially when you got those tanks like the Garen. Ooh, GLP misfiring in the mid lane. The Ahri down to a little bit under 2/3. As Vladimir is starting to get some pretty good pressure. He got himself that Proto Belt, completed his first item of the game. And now Garen coming in from behind, so he's going to have that silence. Oh, immediately Vladimir pools and just slips away. Skarner and Sejuani going to say hi into the jungle. Immediately boar rush though from Sejuani, trying to get away. Skarner avoiding getting CC'd. And everyone just kind of backing away. And the plates fall in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, not any of them got any plating early game, so no goal lead there. I'm really surprised because usually you would see, oh, looks like there's a DC happening here.
Oh man, this is pretty intense. We've got to pause because the game is just too hype. No, it's only 1,000 gold lead for IRD. We definitely don't want to watch a 4v5. We want to see the game be successful in all of its ways. So with this pause, we can talk a little bit about the overall game state. We saw that Garen on the top side of the map hasn't been able to do that much. Even roaming to the mid lane, kind of just shows up, waves to Vladimir as he heads out, and then it goes back towards that top side of the map. even though in CS against the Rise, who is starting to move in onto that top lane turret. And we'll see whether or not, I think, if I double check, I don't know if I can do, because I can't move my map around. If my memory serves me, no plates have actually dropped this game. Unless Rise picks one off on the top side of the map, there will be 0 plates that fall before the 14-minute mark, which is pretty impressive. Both teams playing that safe side and just farming to get those first items.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I haven't seen no plates drop in a long time, to be honest with you, but it looks like blue side Scum here has pink wards on the map, has the lit up the herald, so it looks like they might be looking for an early herald, as well as there's nothing lit up on the map for the ocean drake, so it'll be interesting to see who gains control of that, who picks it up, because like you said, it'd be very good on Scum because of, you know, the health regen on Garen and, you know, just mana regen and sustainability for the late game for sure. But yeah, it's pretty head-to-head right now, as of the state of the game right now. Looks like, yeah, just 1k gold lead, like you said. It looks like Vladimir is getting a lead still in that CS, but like you said, Ari is forcing him to just farm. And Garen trying to pick off a gank there, but the animation was canceled and it just looked so denied, and just he looked so sad not being able to at least touch that Vladimir before he pulled away.
Indeed. Now, something to note, we saw this from the games yesterday. The Jinx, D carry, has himself a golden stopwatch. I believe that is from those runes, as he carries it almost every single game. So, if the bottom lane does become the focus for this Sejuani boosted Lee Sin, who's played very passively so far throughout the game, kind of one play on the bottom side of the map, otherwise just hitting that farm in the jungle as fast as she can. If she focuses on the bottom side, Jinx will have that golden stopwatch to keep herself alive, at least for a little while. But I gotta say, from both teams, are playing pretty safe, pretty steady, and this game is still pretty even when looking overall through everything. Really, the Vladimir at this point with the 10 CS lead over the Ari and the Infernal Drake is about all she wrote, you know, for this point, for Iridescence having a tiny edge over Scum Gang.
But to note that the Skarner is adding a lot more pressure on the map, and that's really what's giving them those leads, and if he keeps it up, you know, those little bits are going to turn bigger and bigger and bigger, and unfortunately Sedge starts to need to add more map pressure. It's at a certain point in the game, it's like playing safe is actually detrimental, so it'll be interesting to see if she can start, you know, making plays, pulling out, you know, her AoE ult, see if the team fights happen, see if she can get some more counter ganks in and add in that pressure against the Skarner.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of Sejuanis that I've watched on stream, right? Especially in a series game 1, when you're worried about failing those ultimates. You're worried about, you know, do I cast this ultimate? I want to wait for the perfect time, the perfect engage, the perfect moment to throw out my ultimate, and then you end up going 13 minutes into the game, 14 minutes into the game, never casting it, never even going fishing for it to see if you could line something up. And it's just been a bit of a problem so far. We'll see if that can get turned around. Something to note was the fact that this Skarner, though, has been very aggressive on the map. A great turnaround fight on the bottom side of the map, as well as heading towards that top side, almost taking out the Garen, forcing his flash. Now, the flash is going to be coming up here shortly, so it's not like it did that much for the Rise and him being able to solo win the top side of the map, but as long as Skarner can keep finding those plays with that Impale, things will still look good for Iridescence Gaming.
And not only that, Skarner's been doing a really nice job of when Sedge goes in and when she counter ganks in, he's there on the map. He's ready to rotate in for that counter gank. He's really there to deny Sedge that gank, as well as coming back in after they blow their sums to disengage to do a gank and pressure them really hard that way. It's very smart, very good map awareness, and just countering the Sedge pretty hard at the moment.
Now, let's talk about the teams as a whole while we're still waiting in this pause. I'm not sure what the long-term rules are on this. We'll get some of the admins to figure that out. But looking at the teams as a whole, we actually had Scum Gang didn't play their semifinals yesterday. The team that was supposed to play against them, their players just had a problem. They couldn't actually meet for the games themselves, and so Scum were given that just through the FF. That's how they made it to the finals. Whereas Iridescence Gaming, they crush in yesterday's games. 3-0, absolutely obliterating the side of the Tortugas that they were playing against and did a fantastic job winning in that best-of-5 series, and so they're right back into the same seat that they were before against a team that people would say, hey, they're pretty good, you definitely are going to have a bit of a challenge, and so you got to feel for the side of Iridescence Gaming, they're a bit comfortable. They said, you know what, we fought our way into the finals, we definitely deserve to be here. Scum, they kind of just snuck in with that FF. Now, they definitely played well in the groups and final stages, groups and quarter stages, don't get me wrong, but they didn't play out those semifinal games, and so Iridescence, we'll see if because of that 3-0 yesterday, that they can ride that confidence into this game. As we are unpaused, we are back into the game, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see where Garen goes after his failed attempt at a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely had some connections issues, but I'm so glad to see that he's back and ready to continue fighting in the top lane here. And it looks like they are gonna go set up some wards, get some control here on that dragon.
So both junglers immediately heading to the Ocean Drake. One of the things that the pods gives these teams time to do is kind of discuss a little bit of strategy, discuss a little bit of, hey, you know what, so far this game, we've had a little bit of an issue here, we had a little bit of issue there, let's see if we can kind of clean up these problems. And so after their discussion, we'll see if anything changes in just the play style of these two teams as the side of Iridescence immediately head for that Ocean Drake, and they're going to start it up. Oh, man.
It is warded, though, so it's going to be interesting to see because Scum does have it warded, does have vision on it, and they're just punching it away right now, so it looks like
What? Almost missed that fight in the mid lane. It was so close. Vladimir absorbs all of the pressure out of the Ahri and then just bursts everything down. Takes a little bit of time for the camera to readjust to the fact that she eventually is going to fall. That is a second kill for Iridescence Gaming. And they're going to take away the Ocean Drake as well. Hook from the Nautilus is going to miss, but Starner's still going to chase that in. He's got the Impale. He can grab the Sejuani. She flashes. Boosted Lee Sin, able to get out, but had to burn that flash to escape. And now the Taric and Kaisa are leaving the bottom lane and roaming up towards the mid lane because there are 4 members of Iridescence looking to maybe get some damage onto that turret. No, they're going to immediately turn and grab the Rift Herald. That is amazing from IRD. So many teams, when one team grabs a Drake, the other team will try to grab the Rift Herald immediately afterwards, but no, IRD send all players, besides that Vladimir who recalled after getting a solo kill in the mid lane, straight onto the Rift Herald, but now we've got a 4v4 fight. We'll see if Sejuani's going to come in, throw out that ultimate. It's not going to land. The rest of the team going to try to make the engage as well. There's the ultimate from the Taric, looking for the actual engage. Everyone's safe at the moment as the Nautilus, though, getting a little bit low. The Rise, he's got out of position, will be taken down as the ultimate will be wasted. Poor positioning on there, and at the moment, Scum Gaming, they're looking to pick up the Rift Herald, and a great body block by the Garen, keeping the Super Mega Death Rocket from the Jinx from taking away the Rift Herald, and he's gonna drop the ultimate, the Demacian Sword, slashing through Jinx. The Sejuani continue to chase in. They're looking at the top lane turret. They could immediately drop the Rift Herald and look to push with all 5 members to this top lane, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. 3 members from IRD looking to defend. The tank is here from the Nautilus. The Vladimir going in, dropping the Hemo Plague onto all the members. We'll see if he can win. No! He doesn't even get a chance to pool. He's taken out. Brick Burner is burned down. The top lane turret going to fall. The chase in as well from the Sejuani, making sure that Nautilus has nothing that he can do. First turret of the game going over to Scum Gang, and the game just went from a drag to an absolute slaughter by the hands of Scum Gang as Shelly will get a nice charge off onto that second turret.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, a lot of pods definitely helped them really discuss team plays, kind of like a halftime, you know, like I did not expect them to go directly for that Herald. It was a really smart play. Not only that they were able to do the team comp fight, like I said, with that Taric ulti, and since they were in the pit, the enemy team could not disengage the ulti, so they had to sit there for a lot of the time, just taking it in the face, while Taric ulti was just burning.
Yeah,
I mean...
It was one of those things that when you trade objectives, the Drake for the Rift Herald, you don't end up a big brawl or a big fight. Where for the side of IRD, you know, they decided they were going to try to fight for it anyway, but they sent one of their strongest people, the Vladimir, this point in the game, back to the fountain, try to get a little bit of health back, come back after taking down the Ahri. Her recall timer was, or her death timer, not that long, so she was able to join in and make it a 4v5 fight at the very beginning. They pick up the Rift Herald, and excellent tanking by the Sejuani and the Garen. And now with that Rift Herald, they've secured themselves a little bit of extra gold. Vladimir trying to split push on the bottom side of the map. The Jinx is actually going to join him. Nautilus roaming down here as well. Kais is getting some good poke. Whoa, a flash from the Vladimir. He's still going to try to chase him with the Hemo play because the Jinx is coming up. So Mega Death Threat comes out, dropping the Kaisa very, very low. However, she's not out just yet. The Garen TPing into the last minute. He was underneath the turret, seeing what he can do. The hook, though, by Nautilus pulls him underneath the turret. He's down to about half. Rise coming to the bottom lane with the TP onto a ward. Looking to re-engage onto the Garen. The Taric stun, not going to land on anyone. The Zap from the Jinx is going to hit a minion, so it doesn't slow him down on the way out. And now they turn onto the Sejuani. Boosted Lee Sin, going to be taken down to about half. The Sejuani trying to get out the pool from Vladimir, slowing her, letting the rest of the team continue to poke and harass the Skarner. Coming in from the top side, he's got that ultimate impale. Are they going to go for someone underneath the turret? They have found themselves an Ahri, forcing her ultimate. So the Spirit Rush used to escape once again. The Charm lands under the Skarner. Brickburn taken down to about half. Oh, that's a lot of damage. The Foxfire forcing the flash out of the Skarner, and now Nautilus is the target. He's taken down. Garen is on a killing spree. He can turn onto Vladimir, down to about half. The rest of the team, though, 4v4 fight at the moment. Health bars low from Scum Gaming, so they start to back away, but Skarner is out of this fight so far. He still has the ultimate available, but no flash and no strong engage. They just back away. And at the moment, where it started a 1,000 gold lead for IRD, it has swapped to a 2,000 gold lead for Scum Gang.
Yeah, even though IRD has 2 drags, Scum Gang came back with the team fights, won it really hard, got the gold lead, and got a tower. And is just really turning this around and just adding a lot of pressure in with those team fights. It was very teeter-totterish there. That whole fight, I was like, I don't know who's going to win this. Like, I thought IRD was going to go down. I thought Scum was going to go down. And in the end, IRD had to back off there and lose a few people. So it was pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy indeed, and we talked a little bit about that engage from the Skarner. However, if he can't find someone to grab, a lot of that engage ends up being wasted. And you saw there as he was going in, charmed up by the Ahri, then he takes a ton of damage. The CC lock from the Sejuani, forced to flash away, and then he's completely out of the fight. What should be a easy guaranteed kill with that Impale is turning into being a little bit of a problem for this Skarner. There's the next Drake spawning shortly, and it is a second Infernal Drake at the moment. So you can see both teams immediately head around there, and I think we might be going back into a team fight shortly.
It looks like there's a lot more dragon control on the blue side happening around. Even though IRD did ward it up, it looks like they're going to come in here and with the Kaisa just burn it as fast as they can. And it looks like they're just going to back off and let it happen here.
Yeah, IRD, after those last couple of fights, the top side around Rift Herald, then the bottom side in the middle of the lane, not feeling quite so confident, back away. As that Vladimir in the mid lane, GLP getting a little bit of slow. The Charm comes through as well. He's locked down. Goodbye. And Garen, 4-0. Spooter Juan making the Twitch chat regret making fun of him because he is doing a fantastic job so far this game. Second highest, excuse me, not second highest CS. Pretty good at CS though. The ADCs are a little bit higher there. Rise getting some nice split push on the top side of the map. However, he's going to back away as that mid lane first tier turret will fall. Second turret of the game going over to Scum.
Yeah, definitely. I had faith in the Garen. I've had lots of friends who main him and are really insane with him, so I was ready to see some plays, and I was not disappointed here. He's like, I am Garen, I'm here to play, let me just take all the tower hits and do some damage, silence, and just run around the map and just take control of this game.
Well, that's what he's doing right now.
He's got a 400 gold shutdown lead right now.
Yeah, that bounty is sitting
insane.
on his head. Mid lane to top lane to mid lane to bot. This Garen all over the map. That aggressive TP onto a minion on the bottom side of the map within turret range just to force the members of IRD back from the fight was so well played. That TP is going to be on cooldown. The Rise TP also on cooldown. However, he still has that ultimate available, so he could try to make an across the map play if he wants to. But I still want to see some of that split push pressure, especially onto this top lane first tier turret, Scum Gang. It is just, little bit of auto attacks to take that down.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close, and they definitely need a first tier here to catch up in gold. They're not too far behind with Scum having a little bit of 3k gold lead happening here with the 6 kills in their pockets from those team fights. So it wouldn't be too difficult to catch up here and turn this around for them. So it's still going to be pretty head-to-head and even here. It looks like Skarner might be caught out, but he's pretty speedy.
Yeah, speeds himself away. None to worry. He had that, I believe it was the relic on the bottom side of the map to give him a bit of movement speed boost there, so he's able to get out for it now. And so both teams once again backing away, and what we're seeing is that both teams really focusing on that 5v5 fight. They're not looking for the super picks. They're not trying to just, 1v2 or 2v2, any of those smaller skirmishes. They're instead, when something happens, everyone collapses. Everyone wants their piece of the team fight pie. And so, once again, without any major fight going down and no major neutral objectives, as neither team wants to rush a level 20 or a 20-minute Baron, they're just going back to farming the lanes. As Jinx has a bit of a 10 CS lead over the Kai'Sa, probably going to get matched up here shortly in the bottom lane. But both ADCs done a pretty good job of just playing it slow so far this game.
The thing about that is they are looking for team fights, but with this Skarner, they should be looking for picks because they have that stronger potential right now. Skarner can use his ulti and just pick one off if they can, but it looks like Scum's just playing it really safe, denying him that capability of getting those picks.
The Sejuani also has a capability as well with her ultimate, so we'll see where they decide to maybe try to make that play. Boosted Lee Sin, I gotta say, while most of the early game was pretty rough, the fight around the Rift Herald did a fantastic job of tanking. The ult, yeah, it was a whiff, but it was a zoning ultimate. What it did was it said you have to back away and allow us our turn on the Rift Herald, or one of you will get caught and we will find a kill on that. And then on the bottom side of the map, basically fought in that choke point, being a big, beefy target for everyone to hit on the Sejuani, rather than those carries who are poking from behind her. So good positioning from the Sejuani so far in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and it's not always like you said about landing the ulti. Like, it helped with zoning, and that's all that Sedge needed to do to really win that team fight. I mean, it would have been a bonus if she did, but like, had to force them out of that pit, and they either would have got stuck in it or they were forced to leave. So throwing it out there, holding it in, and starting to make it those plays is really turning it around for them as well. It looks like they're gonna set up. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. 6 kills to 3. As you said, with that lead, they've got a bit of pressure on the map. A lot of wards throughout this river. Skarner's going to try to clear some up. He's getting a couple of pocketfuls of gold with all those control wards that he's clearing. However, Garen going to chase him off with the one on Baron. And with such vision control, we can actually go ahead and switch over to our, there it is, the Fog of War. You can see from the side of IRD, yeah, they got vision around bot side of the map because everyone's still sitting in that lane, but they have no vision on the Sejuani, and now Jinx caught out, left alone by the Nautilus. She is just going to fall. The flash route by Homie finds that stun, and Tarek given a kill over to the Kai'Sa on the bottom side of the map. Not sure what Tide was doing, maybe trying to get a little bit of vision for the side of IRD, but now they're going to lose the ADC and the bottom lane turret and an Ocean Drake.
And a Mountain.
Or Mountain Drake, excuse me.
Mountain Drake, yeah.
Going over to Scum Gang.
Yeah, unfortunately Jinx was alone, and that's just something they can't afford because Jinx is their AD damage. They need her alive at all times. So that really gave them the advantage, plus they already had the vision control to get that Mountain Drake, a tower, and a pick.
Garen being a little bit of a spell absorber as everyone was trying to make an initiation on him, but now the Nautilus is going to be caught out, throws out that ultimate. Garen going to spin to win through the Vladimir as well. A great hook. However, the ultimate from the Garen dropping him low. I think Nautilus will live. Tide able to just waddle his way out of that second tier turret in the mid lane. However, he will definitely be in a bit of a pickle as there are 5 members of Scum pushing, and the Vladimir once again silenced, once again unable to throw out that ultimate or go into his pool. Dodo will fall in the mid lane. They got that kill. They do back away from the side of Scum Gang. Could maybe look for the Baron. It would be a bit dangerous as Skarner is still up on the map, but it seems like that's what they might be doing.
He's just going on the map. I am Garen. I am Garen. I am Garen. I am Garen. And just shutting down that Vladimir so he can't do the scary things that we thought he was going to do right now.
The Baron has been started by Scum Gang. They've got 4 members on it. Ari on the backside, trying to get a little bit of poke push off the Skarner, and Sejuani secures the Baron for the side of Scum Gang. They can chase this one, and Sejuani ultimate use, catches out the Jinx immediately into the killer instinct from Korea. Doing an amazing job over there with the collapse. The Skarner going to fall as well. Ari picking that one up, and fantastic moves by Scum Gang get them right back into this game.
Yeah, you know what's really turning it around is their decision-making skills. They really are paying attention to the map. They're really denying anything they can and just punishing when they can, as well as making the big risk, big plays that they know that they can afford to do.
got a little hype there. Kiora, once again being educated by the chat on how to say these players' names. Thank you so much. Kiora. The Kaisa, and the aggressive move with the Killer Instinct, making sure that that Jinx falls. Good stuff there. And so far from what was a great early game by Iridescence, has really just fallen apart in these team fights. And yesterday, what I was praising them on was the fact that they were able to move around and collect together as a team, as a group, finding some of those plays. This game, not been successful with that at all, and they're going to have to pick apart what they're doing wrong between this game and the next one. With a 8,000 gold deficit, they have got to just turtle and wait for the side of Scum Gang to make a mistake.
Yeah, 10-2. They only have 2 kills on the map, and it's been 28 minutes into the game. They're really struggling here to pick up some kills, but almost every single team member on Scum has gold shutdown, so that can really help them turn it around if they can get a few out or win a team fight. That'll be a large sum. That's like, what, 600 gold plus 400? That's almost like a 1,500 gold there that they can catch up on if they can win a team fight. But they gotta wait out that Baron. They're behind a large amount of gold, so that, you know, Scum has a lot of items on them. So it's just going to be really dependent on if they can make a decision here and either wait it out, catch a pick, get a shutdown.
Yeah, and those items, look at that from the side of Scum Gang. They've got the tankiness from the Sejuani coming out, the Warmogs combined with that Gargoyle's Stone Plate. So every time that she makes a play, everyone burning a lot of spells to try to take her down. At the moment, she was split pushing on the bottom side of the map. They're going to try to make a play on a 4v5 situation. There's the Cosmic Radius from the Taric being called, keeping people alive for the moment as the Vladimir finally gets his Zonias up, but it might be setting up to fall down. The Nautilus knocking up the back line. The Impale by Skarner makes sure that the Kaisa will go down. However, the Skarner quick to fall as well afterwards, and now the Garen straight onto the Jinx. The flash from Sejuani gets down the Jinx. She is going to fall, and the side of Iridescence are falling apart. They lose 4 members, and they burned everything to only secure the Kaisa. Kiora, the only one to fall from Scum Gang, and that opens the base with Baron for the side of Scum. They might be able to just end the game right here.
Yeah, it's definitely a big risk, big play for them. It was the high risk, high reward scenario. Like, I think they would have had to force that team fight, considering that Baron was like knocking at their door. I don't think they had a choice there, honestly.
Oh, the Rise being forced to flash away as he watches the Nexus fall in the finals. Best of 5 series, game number 1, locked down and secured by Scum Gang. And I want to make a comment very quickly. Something happened during the pause. I don't know what it was. Maybe they were playing passively, and during the pause, they said, you know what? We got to do something. And they showed up. They played some League of Legends, and they did an amazing, amazing job. I don't want to ask for more pauses, but if that worked for game number 1, maybe it's just the magic key for game 2 or game 3. We'll have to see.
It's kind of like a timeout in a sports game, and then you just see the football players come back in and they just dominate, and you're like, what the heck? What kind of motivational quotes were they talking about?
They got the coach coming in, and he's like, hold on, guys, you're playing so passively. Play aggressively. You could do this. Just make the plays. Just go win. Trust your instincts. You got so many skills and abilities. CC chains, lockdown, damage. Just play League of Legends. And they did exactly that, wiping Iridescence off of the map after that pause. A fantastic run there. And from the side of Iridescence, while some things looked good at the beginning of the game, Brick Burner, lots of ganks, lots of flashes burned, after that they just fell apart. So because this is a best of 5 series, Jess, what are your thoughts from the side of Iridescence? What can they do to try to get back and find something to, you know, lay claim to, especially as they go into game number 2?
And be elevated.
Well, that game was definitely looking good for them early on into the game, but I was just a shocking turnaround. It was like breathtaking to honestly see the comeback that happened from Scum. I think they really need to get on that top lane, because that top lane added in a lot of map pressure, a lot of lane pressure, and really turn around some fights. That Garen really made or break some of those plays and really helped them get ahead and turn around. And yeah, he's a scary contender. As well as their team, like if Scum's going to continuously engage hard team fight comps, they might need to think about comps that might be able to counteract that.
And I think that a lot of it is off of confidence. I don't know what happened with Scum, but they obviously said, you know what, let's just go for it, and they found victory after victory. The meta currently seems to be favoring the team that's snowballing. Obviously, it's a snowball, that's what it is. But even with a late game skilling Vladimir, you'd think from the side of Iridescence that they say, you know what, we've got a Nautilus, we've got a Skarner, let's just make these plays. You know what, maybe it is okay to tower dive just a little bit and see if you can find some small edge off of that. But they just played passively, they continued to lose, and then those team fights, it was nothing but retreat from there. So hopefully we see them put a little bit of fire underneath their feet for game number 2. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. If you guys are enjoying this, those of you that have followed, thank you so much. Feel free to hit that follow. If you are new here, we do shoutcast every Tuesday and Thursday, and we're going to be bringing you a lot more events in the future. Also, if you didn't make it in to play these and are interested in playing in future Amateur League Invitational tournaments, make sure that you jump onto the Discord, and that way you guys can participate in future events. If you got an org and you want to play, come and let the admins know. We will be right back with game number 2.